The video you're about to watch is a chronology, if that's actually a word, but a sort of video log style look at the May 21st, 2022 Derecho, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that word. So, whatever the correct pronunciation is, you can insert it here. But there is that. This is a video log style video, mostly taken at a time where I didn't really know what was going on, didn't have any real information, so that sort of colored my opinions on a lot of things. I was basing a lot of my thought processes on the tornadoes that had happened 3 years prior as of the making of the video. Of course, it's 2025 now, it's quite a while later, and I've had time to reflect and time to think about things. So I've got some clarifications at the end that I've added because I also realized I never really finished the video. So I would like it if you watched those. In fact, I would really like it if you watched the whole video. But if you're looking for some stuff, some explanations, they're basically at the end. I'll put a timestamp in the video description so you can figure that out for yourself. But in the meantime, we're going to come to the start, which is when the storm was just barely starting to move in. Now it looks like we got some structure. Wind is going nuts, but it's just structure right now. Wow. Where's the door? There it is. Not much to see. I don't think I unlocked this door. I probably should, just as an emergency. Yeah, that door is locked. It's pretty angry looking, but it's not, looks like most of it's just gonna go to the north, which is fine, considering what this thing's being warned for. I don't really want the worst of it. Thank you very much. Wow. And it looks like the worst of it is going to the north, which is good. I hear booming. I should probably not stand here. That might not be the best plan. I'm already here. There's probably more to it. I see stuff over there. But I just heard a bang. Yeah, this is getting kind of pissed off. There's a nice little kaboom. I actually don't even know where it's heading now. Because it looked like for a while it was going just straight east. Now maybe not so much. But yeah, this might be about to get a little crazy. Don't be fooled by that. Right there. There is, insofar as I can tell, no rotation. So, it should be fine with respect to that. But, I think I'm going to set up the weatherproof camera and I'm going to probably just get out of here. That might be the smartest thing to do. I'm getting pretty angry. Listen to that. Don't think it would be smart to stay outside for this one. Some modest clouds. coming a little slower than I would have expected, given how fast it was moving not that long ago, but it's still moving. It's a constant thunder. There's a nice bass right there. If this were the middle of the night, I bet this would look awesome. Got a little bit of an opening that just opened up. It seems to have gotten lighter. Well, actually, that or all of that just got darker. It's starting to rain. Here comes the wind. I don't know what the prospects for keeping the pool clean are going to be like. This is moving a lot faster now. Look at that. Wish I were a little taller. I could see all these trees right here. You can see the base. But, I don't know, dude. I think that's the base right there. Definitely getting pissed off here. This is not like the last one, which was mostly show. This one's tell. Holy crap, look at that. There's no tornado warning, so I guess we got that going for us. Man, that's dark. Yeah, that's like overhead. I don't know if standing out here is smart. I'm going back to where safety is. What little safety we actually have. Standing right here. Oh yeah, that's there's your base. You can see it now. There's the base. There's no tornado warning as far as I can tell, unless it came in silently. Yeah, there she is. This is going to be wicked if it's like this now. Yeah, here it comes. I've said that like 6 times now. Look at that base. I don't see rotation, so I think we're okay. I'm going to have to book it here in a second. Yeah, I don't like the looks of that. I think I'm going to book it. And here, folks, is why I bailed on it. Whoa. It took out the whole tree. Power's out. Okay, cool. Okay, so in all that, obviously the power's out. But check this out. I've never actually experienced this before. Now, this isn't the best radio to be using to demo this. I may get a better one, but listen to how silent. I assume that this is the FM band. Am I wrong? I can't even tell. Yeah, this is the FM band. That's a French station, which is not normally there. There's another French language station that's not normally there. None of the local FMs are up. That one might be. I probably shouldn't do that because that's going to get muted. But yeah. Most of what's showing up is French. There's a lot of stations that are normally here that are not showing up. So, gonna have to retry that experiment with a better radio, but that never happened, not even when we had the tornadoes. Out on a little walk, just waiting for power to come back. Surveying what happened. Oh, that sucks. That's really bad. That's the third uprooted tree I'd seen. And, that one actually did hit something of consequence. There's a car underneath that. Well, hopefully that's not destroyed. But, yeah, there's a lot of reports of that kind of thing. So, it could be a lot worse. But, man, that's bad. There's a shingle right here. I don't know where that came from. Somebody's house. It's the next day. What a nice day, eh? Not. Sure, you can hear the drone of what I presume are generators anyway. Tell you that there is still no electrical power in the area, which is to be expected. I think if it's back on tomorrow, that'll be amazing. Because there's a lot of destruction everywhere. I wanted to point out some things. This certainly is actually alive. I'm kind of wondering about that because I'm pretty sure that it should have done something by now. I think that that bush might be dead, which kind of sucks because it was a fairly nice bush. Of course, you hear horns from people who don't know what four-way stops are. Anyway. But, all that, and it still could not blow away this stupid shed. It's still here. Like nothing happened. Might be a little crooked, but I think it was a little crooked anyway. There's a sprinkler that was over there. I don't know where it came from. It might have been ours. But, hard to tell. Yeah, right about now having a generator would be nice. Then again, I assume that's what that is anyway. The drone of people's generators. This might be a little damaged. I'm not sure. Although it's always kind of bowed out because there used to be a tree behind that was pulled out years ago. In fact, almost 2 decades ago. It was shortly after we moved in that they pulled that out. None of this hedge fell over, which is probably amazing. There's mosquitoes everywhere back here. So being back here is probably not the best move in the world. Anyway, I think this kind of fell. I think that kind of fell. So I think that those two were attached to each other, and, well, now they're not. The gate stayed closed. You can see that's still here. Hopefully it didn't damage that fiber. But, yeah. Naturally, of course, people are using it as a dumping ground for their own stuff. You know, as if they're not going to be able to tell what is and is not from this tree. Well, I guess it's not bad. Time marches on. It's marching all over my long weekend that I was going to use to take care of projects. Guess that's not going to happen. Should have taken Friday off. Well, at least I would have gotten a head start on some of this. Because most of what I need to work on are computer projects, and obviously you can't work on those when there's no power, right? Well, I guess you can, but you just can't test them. Which sort of kind of ruins the whole thing. I am glad that I opened up the garage, though. I had the foresight to open it up as an escape route just in case I was back here when the storm decided to hit. Full tilt. And, like I said, good thing I did, because obviously you ain't opening that when there's no power, so I could probably at least get started on some of these projects that are in here, but I just can't test anything. You know, I do find it quite funny when people decide they're going to come down the street and then they get around the corner here and then realize, oh, wait a minute, I can't do that because the road's blocked. I haven't checked what's going on over there. I haven't seen if anybody's gotten stuck there yet, but, you know, it's a lot easier to realize, oh, wait, I can't actually turn down there when you're up there, and you can see it, than when you end up right here. And I don't like it to end up driving through the yard, because, you know, they kind of just put new seed down. Let's see, look at that. People just drive right through it. Really make a mess out of it. You know, people have got no regard for everybody else's lawns. But I guess it's always been that way. It's kind of the hazards of having a corner house. Anyway, that being said, it'd be kind of nice if they would put a sign up that said, you know, this road's closed. You know, I mean, I get that resources are stretched thin because it's not like it's just here, it's the entire city, which is not small, that we're having issues with. But at the same time, there's little things that they could do and then come back to these things later. You know, even then on the flip side, people could just stay home, but, you know, they don't do that. They didn't even do that when everything was shut down. It's madness. So, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. If I can get anything done this weekend or not. You know, looking forward to a nice weekend of being able to get things done. It's a 3-day weekend, and it's looking like it's going to be 3 days of just sitting around doing nothing. Well, you can see that they've done some cleanup. It's just enough to where they can actually open up the road. So at least it's not blocked anymore, but, you know, it's still kind of a mess. I don't know what they're going to do about that, because it looks like it took out more than what I had originally thought, because I didn't notice that that was missing too. And I also didn't notice that there were 2 limbs that were missing off of that branch over there. So it'll be interesting to see. It's probably fine, because I think there's still enough of it left that it'll be okay. But you never know. Obviously, as you can tell just from the sound, there's still no electricity. It's like, I think, almost 9 o'clock now. Can't believe the sun's still up and it's almost 9. Welcome to summer. It's supposed to be a long weekend. I think I've mentioned that a couple of times. Wow, the way that is, I am shocked that that didn't fall. I'm trying to think. Something smells hot. I'm trying to figure out where it's coming from. I don't see pillars of smoke. So I guess there's one thing, but definitely smells like somebody's having a bonfire somewhere. Not that I can blame them, you know, it's Victoria Day, a long weekend, there's no power, but you know, sometimes people forget that we're in the middle of a city and, you know, it's not exactly nice. Well, I guess it could be worse, it could be leaf smoke. I know somebody's gonna say something, well, they're burning tree limbs, there's got leaves on it, but yeah, no. Pure leaves smells quite a bit different than this. But yeah, I don't see an obvious fire somewhere, so I guess there's one thing. But the one concerning thing I've seen is that they have not made any headway on any outages at all today. You know, it's still at, I think, something like 550. Somewhere around there, and it's been like that all day. So clearly there's either people slacking off or there's a lot more to do than what they initially anticipated, and I choose to be optimistic. You know, I've certainly got a lot of respect for power linemen, considering the job that they have to go through. It's not exactly the most pleasant things in the world, but yeah, so I'll be an optimist on that, and I'll say that it's just that there's, I guess you call it optimistic, but you know, a lot more damage. But yeah, well, it could have been a whole lot worse. They're supposedly coming up to survey just to make sure that none of it was caused by a tornado, but I don't think that was a tornado. I don't think any of this was caused by a tornado. It's too widespread. You know, a tornado can cause a lot more than that, but it's a lot more constrained to a damage path, and you can usually tell when there's circulating winds as opposed to just straight line ones. And that seemed like straight line to me. So, yeah, well, maybe that is collapsing a little bit. You know, I don't think that was there, but not as much you can do about it. Cedar hedge tends to, when it bends, that's pretty much it. Yeah, it's definitely probably down a little bit. So, whatever. I've got my battery bank. I actually got this from work. Somebody left it in one of the labs. So, it's getting a workout today. I actually couldn't find it. I think I spent probably a good hour and a half trying to find it, because I took it with me on my Rochester trip and then promptly lost it. I didn't even use it while I was down there, and I haven't even used it until today, really, other than a quick little test and charging it. So, is this door locked? So I think the garage, the actual physical door, has been released. Well, that's not gonna work. I don't know why I just tried to turn the light on. I think the door has been released, so you could, in theory, open it, but I don't need to open it. So, there's flowers in here that are supposed to be planted. So, I guess that's gonna happen tomorrow, power or not. But we'll see. This is gonna be a long video. Normally I don't like storm videos to be super long, and I don't really like super long videos anyway, because people don't watch them, but we'll see how it goes. Definitely a little concerned about this mulberry. I think that's what it is. No, it's an elderberry bush. That's what it is. Doesn't look like it's alive to me. Of course, it wasn't trimmed. sure that doesn't help. But yeah, this looks pretty dead. Maybe not. Yeah, that's dead. So, who knows? Well, 48 hours later. I did want to come out here and have a look. Hoping that I didn't just put my head into a hornet's nest, which I didn't. Because I know that we've had some here before. I'm going to come in here, and I just want to make sure that there's no damage, or at least if there is any, that it's minimal. So, I don't think I'll find anything, but you never know. Yeah, look at this mess. This is ridiculous. Well, if there's water damage, I can't tell. So, looks like we're probably okay. So, that's good. Might go through some of this, see if I can find, because in particular my kitchen scale, I kind of want that. It doesn't need to be really sitting out here anyway. So, yeah. At least there's no damage to anything. So, not that it really matters. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It's not like anything that's in here is particularly valuable. Okay, that'll give you an idea for how long everything's been up for. About an hour and a half. Seems to be stable. And, yeah, so about 50 hours worth. Which I guess, in the grand scheme of things, considering what all got destroyed, is not too bad. Still have some work to do. Obviously, those are not on. I have fired up all the UPSs, but I have not gone any further. I'm not powering that up. Well, I probably will. Probably power up the main computer, but nothing else is going to be powered on. Shouldn't be afraid of myself. I did not turn those two UPSs on. And I probably won't till tomorrow. Likewise, the same deal is if we come over here into this. The only things that are on are the two firewalls, that, and then this thing down here, which doesn't have a power switch on the back, so I wasn't able to turn it on. I need to do a lot of work on that. I'll probably make that a separate video. But, yeah, that's definitely progress. So, I guess that's pretty much it. I've got the Raspberry Pi actually here, hooked up. Charging devices and such things. I'm not sure that's actually really charging. I'll have to, I'll probably have to change the cable on that, but, yeah. Because I don't think you're supposed to charge it from USB-C, but either way, I didn't use this, but I did use that in a storm recently, a different one. So, I've got two different storm videos now I'm going to have to edit, along with all the other stuff. But, where did it actually go? I had the Flip Ultra sitting outside. That was the one that was looking out the front. And it seems to have disappeared. It's not still here. Maybe it's on my bed. Yeah, it's over there on the bed. So I'll have to get the stuff off of that. That ought to be interesting. But what's more interesting to me is going to be whatever the Samsung captured, because it was outside. I suspect that the audio is probably not much more than loud wind noise. Well, now that it's been 4 years since this whole thing happened, I'm finally getting the video put together. It's a pretty long video, as you can tell. I think edited so far it's a little bit over half an hour long, so I don't expect that anybody's watching this by now. It's been 4 years since and I'm going to say this wrong. At the time, I didn't really know what it was. I didn't think of it as anything more than just a normal thunderstorm, but it turns out it's what they call a Derecho. And yeah, it took out a lot of stuff, destroyed a lot of things, knocked over a lot of trees, uprooted pretty much all the shallow-rooted ones. Except for that's still standing, which I don't really know how, considering most of it's dead. But it is there. But what it did do, you can see there's no pool here anymore, because it's been 4 years later. Nope, this hedge is in the way, so you won't be able to see it, but it took out about 2/3 of that tree there. Caused a little bit of damage to this. But this was in a bad way long before that. You can see there's been some rework done on this since. I really think that should have been tied up there, but what do I know? I'm not an arborist or anything like that. Look how crooked this is. But anyway, and then this here, I pointed that out. I think this might have been blown over a little bit, but one also has to remember, I think it was right there. Yeah, it would have been right here because it's in line with that window. There was a crabapple tree. There's another one sitting right there, but there was a crabapple tree here that was taken out shortly after we moved in. I mentioned that in the video earlier. Other things I mentioned, power is out for about 50 hours. I mentioned that earlier, which, even till this day, is a record. It hasn't been out for longer than that, and that was even longer than it was out when we had the tornadoes in 2018. But keep in mind that I'm just talking about here, where I am right now, this place. There were areas of the city that were out for well over a week. I think it was, in fact, almost 2 weeks. The other place that I'm technically living at now, it's not here. But the other place that I'm technically living at, the power was out for about a week. And there was a lot more extensive damage because obviously it's just trees everywhere over there. And, well, I mean, what do you expect, right? So there's a lot of stuff there. I couldn't actually even, because around that time was when I had actually got the place, and I couldn't move in because the road was blocked, and obviously the power was out, so you couldn't do anything. There was that. It was about another additional week, I think, there. And really, I think it was probably about 2 weeks before the entire city was back online. So some of my commentary, I know I mentioned the phrase slacking off, people slacking off, was not really meant to be an indictment of the electrical workers, the utility people, or anything else. It's more so an indictment on city management who couldn't do simple things because they can't. Couldn't then, still can't now. And I do stand by my assessment that when the road here was blocked, and they knew it was blocked because it was reported that it was blocked, by at least, us, and there were other reports too. I know that some of the neighbors were reporting it as well, and I'm sure that some of the people that were driving around were also reporting it. In fact, I think some of them were from the city. They knew it was blocked, and they still did not put out any signs anywhere saying that the road was closed, which is odd. I don't know if they ran out of signs or what, but to me, the national capital should be able to handle stuff like this. There should be some kind of emergency management, and maybe there is now. I don't know. We haven't had a storm to quite that magnitude since. But again, you know, the flip side of that, and people are going to say this, you know, things that, because this happens in the southern United States all the time, people are going to say that I'm a little bit hasty in saying they should have been prepared for that, considering it doesn't happen here very often. But, you know, it's little things, right? It's little things that they could have done that probably would have made everybody's lives a little bit easier. And then there's the commentary that people should have just stayed home. And I understand that that's hard to do when, you know, you need food, you have no power, you need food, you need water, you need whatever, supplies, you gotta go out. But, you know, I don't understand why you drive down a side street like this when there's something like that going on. And yeah, I know the storm chaser is telling people not to go out when he goes out to survey damage, but yeah, so that 50 hours was how long the power was out. A couple of things that I thought I had recorded that I didn't. I wish I had recorded another video with the radio, taking a look at the radio. It's a phenomenon I've never experienced before and haven't experienced since. And that not only were the stations dead, the transmitters were not even on. So the FM band, which is crowded as hell, I mean, go look it up, had like basically nothing, and the few things that were coming in weak, and were stations probably over the Quebec border, honestly. You know, stations from Montreal, stations from all these other places that happened to still be online because they weren't hit. So, but yeah, it's a phenomenon I've never experienced before, and I haven't experienced since. That being said, we haven't really had any storms to that magnitude since. It's kind of interesting and maybe a bad omen. I wonder if something like that's going to happen this year. I hope not. It only happen every now and then. We actually had a storm today that just missed here. It didn't quite hit here. I was going to chase it and realized pretty quickly that I wasn't going to get out in front of it. Or, I'm sorry, I should rephrase that. It was moving perpendicular. I wasn't going to be able to turn around and get somewhere to turn around and face it in enough time. But anyway, today, of course, is the it's the 17th of May. So, the Victoria Day long weekend, go figure. The same long weekend that Derecho moved through. Funny that, huh? Taking a look at the tree out front, you can barely even tell that it happened at this point. I mean, all of the real evidence is right there that anything ever happened that survived. And the one thing about that I'm sure people probably don't realize, because maybe it's not the same thing everywhere, is that that's not owned by us. That is a city-owned tree. Even though I think technically it's on our property, it's past the property line. So it's not on the city part of the property, but it's a city-owned tree, so we can't do anything with it. We're at the mercy of whatever it is that they decide they want to do, and they didn't want to take it down. And I mean, I guess I can't blame them, considering all of the trees that they did have to take down, that they wouldn't want to take that down, since it's still alive. And survived, as you can probably tell. It just looked really bad for a long time, and it still really doesn't look all that great. Maybe kind of get an idea for what they had done. Kind of amazing it came back as well as it did, really. I don't know if it's still here, but I showed it. No, it's gone now, but there was a sprinkler, a little fire hydrant sprinkler that was there. That wasn't ours. That came from I don't know where. Someone else's yard. It blew over here. I don't know how it ended up there, but it did. The other thing that I thought I had done was, because I had done a pretty big walk, I might still have some pictures. I'll have to go and look. And I'd taken some photos of some trees that had been knocked over and broken. Somebody's patio There's some houses by here with the patio that, had, and I thought it was bolted to the house, at the back. It was, mounted up and bolted down. Kind of like it'd be like, sort of like at the top there would be where the door is, because obviously they back down onto a hill, or the house itself is on the top of the hill, backs down to a ridge. Ridge? I'm not good on terms, obviously, as you can tell, whatever it is. But that had shifted. From top to bottom, it had shifted probably like about this. And I thought that was bolted to the house. That was a little crazy to see, but... So when I mentioned, of course, tornado possibility, obviously now I know there was no tornado, it was all straight line winds. But I know that what they were looking for was maybe like an embedded tornado and all that, which they didn't find, which is unsurprising. So, somebody's dying over there. Wow. What else was I going to say? What else did I need to address? Oh, yeah, I know that there's a lot of people that go through worse than this. Look at all the pictures out of Oklahoma. Every time there's a storm in the summer, it happens every year. There's always one. People go through worse. But, again, the point is not to say, oh, this is terrible, this is bad, I don't know how anybody goes through this, or anything like that. Wow, they really are dying over there. Maybe I should call the ambulance or something. But it's not to make light of anybody else's experiences or anything like that, and not to say that, oh, this is the be-all and end-all, I have it hard, first world problem kind of deal. It's just to say, look, this is what my experience was. I haven't experienced anything like that before or after. So, it's raining again. I was going to record a video log after this. I guess I won't be doing that. But, yeah, I shouldn't make this video too much longer than I already have. But suffice it to say, there you go. Of course, I've got the other videos on this channel of the storm. I was kind of hoping that that waterproof camera would have recorded more than it did. It's not a very good camera, as it turns out. I should have probably used that GoPro knockoff that I can't actually find right now. I need to find that thing because that waterproof camera actually died. So it doesn't work anymore. So if I want to record a video outside, can't do that kind anymore until I find that GoPro. It's on the floor somewhere. I just have to go locate it. So anyway, don't think I've got much else to share with you. I think pretty much everything is in the video itself if you want to watch it and figure it out. But this is a video log style storm video, mostly just of the aftermath, and hope you enjoyed. If you've got any comments, feel free to leave them below. Particularly if you went through this, I'm curious to hear what other people's experiences are. I know I've seen some other videos on YouTube that people have uploaded about the storm long before this one. It didn't take 4 years to edit the stupid thing. Imagine that.